Hello and welcome to Gamerhead Radio, episode 186. I am Jonathan Santiago, aka Fallon Flynn.
I am trapped in a boat, actually a tube goat.
I
Not a boat.
like trapped in a boat goat better. It's just because it rhymes.
And I am Charlie, Technotron going Worsley.
Yay, gentlemen! Yet another edition of this show we put together weekly, which means you guys had a week full of presumably living. So tell me about your weeks, Charlie. What do you this week, Charlie?
So in a slight diversion of not talking about Sony conventions for once, the most exciting thing I did this last week was for my aunt's birthday. She lives down in Lakin, Illinois, which I don't have a good way of explaining where that is, except for that it's about, I want to say 30-40 minutes northeast of Peoria. So we went down to visit her and then picked up her and her family and went down the rest of the way to Peoria for Peoria Oktoberfest, which was a ton of fun. Posted some ridiculous pictures and videos up on my various social media pages. So we had a really good time. Lots of beer, lots of good times, lots of food. We all had to be rolled out in a wheelbarrow, but it was a good time.
Well, that sounds to me like a successful end of summer, beginning of fall kind of an event. If you had to be jolly rolled out,
very much so,
stuffed
yes.
like that. You're not kidding though. Charlie did during the course of the weekend keep me duly entertained with some of the imagery that he posted this weekend. I'm gonna give you guys an example of one such image.
Oh God!
That absolutely, positively.
I know which one it is.
Like you think you know, but do you know? You know, Charlie knows.
I'm pretty,
yeah. All right, let me go ahead and open this up just so that you guys can see how wonderful this was. What the fuck? There you go.
There we go.
You know what my favorite part is? Your beard completely covers the neck hole area, so it really looks like your head is on there until you look above that. My favorite part is the caption that you chose to put on there, Charlie, which what was, I believe it was who
I asked, so for the audio listeners, it's one of those stand-ups with the whole head out where you stick your head in and you're above like a caricature of a body. And of course I'm at Oktoberfest, and so it was your typical German beer maiden holding several large of those, like, I think they're liter steins of beer, and like three of them in each hand. And I forget what Michelle's caption was that inspired me, but when I reshared it, I asked naturally, who would like to drink from my giant jugs? And the fact that the character whose head I was on had rather ample
jugs.
Jugs. Yes. It was a double entendre. So yes.
Yes. Well, it sounds like you had a goddamn jolly week, man. That's good stuff. Goat is actually, he's joining us this evening for the full episode. Things worked out in his favor so that he could participate in the entire show proper. So, Goat, tell us about road life, man. Give us an update on what's going on.
It's the same stuff. I've been trekking around the northwest in a tube. So far, no catastrophes. Such la la la. It's been a good run. Got a day off in Boise today, so figured I'd probably do these jobs instead of running around with my head cut off putting on rock shows.
Yes. You know you love it, man. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like anything particularly exciting. Anybody who follows a Goat on social media will know that he posts some pretty damn hilarious stuff when he's out on the road. Just observations seen through the eyes of Goat, and some of it's pretty fucking funny. Anything exciting? Any awesome shit you've seen out there on the road?
Well, the only thing that's the point of interest is that we went to the Vancouver side of Vancouver that Charlie did not, because that was scary as all get out.
Yeah, a little stabby.
Seriously? You found a scary part of Vancouver?
Yeah, I was in Chinatown.
Oh.
And you've seen like Little Shop of Horrors?
Yeah.
This could have been the set.
Oh, it actually might have been. Lots of
Weird.
stuff is filmed up there. But, wow, no, I was not aware that Vancouver had a scary side. So that's interesting.
Yeah. We were sitting there at one point, and there was a guy with a needle sticking out of his arm with a hammer chipping away at the concrete.
I did what now? What?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Cocaine's a hell of a
like,
drug.
like we were in the part that you and Michelle would have just gunned it and not stopped any red lights.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yes.
So, but it was fun. Other than that, I mean, it's just been, Spokane, stuff like that, pretty normal places I've been 1,000 times. So,
now your current surroundings are also a bit for those of us that haven't spent time on a tour bus are somewhat unique.
Let me turn this on and show you what I can here. This is why my video's not on. Is this little itty bitty area?
You got that flashlight handy, because that sort of helped fill in the gaps for. So for the audio listeners, Goat is currently lying in his bunk on his tour bus, and right now you are able to see the bunk.
Just how claustrophobic tour bus
There's one
bunks
side.
are.
There's the other side.
So the roof is
roof.
The roof of his bunk is about 5 inches above his head. He is lying flat, with a slight incline of a pillow under his head. It is just long enough to fit him in a bag by his feet, looks like. And without the assistance of a flashlight, basically all you can see is the light above his head and then the glare off of his forehead of that light. So,
yeah, from personal experience, I can tell you that sleeping on a tour bus bunk is like sleeping in a coffin that has a curtain on the side. And you just roll out of the coffin onto the onto the floor.
Yep.
It's very uncomfortable.
Well, and I use a bottom bunk, so it's literally that.
I won't say who, but I do know somebody from a particular band that I toured with that managed to successfully have sex in their tour bunk, which is I swear to God.
He's got to be 5 foot nothing, right?
No, you can get it done.
Oh, the plot thickens.
You can get it done. There's ways to handle that.
You can tell me about it after the show, Goat. I'm interested to hear about your adventures. No, as for
adventures
me,
in Tour Town.
In Tour Town, that's correct. As for me, my week was spent basically just preparing for the show that took place last night at the Bottom Lounge. This whole thing was super impromptu. We booked it a week and a half ago and had about a week to promote it. We were asked to fill in very last minute, by Kevin, the singer for All Famous, who does the booking for there. He asked us to fill in very last minute to kind of cover for, Riot Fest has been in town all weekend, and, there are still other bands that aren't playing at Riot Fest that book, and, I think he wanted us to kind of plug the gap and bring some people out. A very odd show for us. We went on second out of 4, which is we're not used to anymore because we're spoiled. But it was actually kind of nice. It was nice to fucking play kind of early, and we were done by I think 10:30 or something like that. It was super nice. But that was my entire week. Nothing else took place that was of significance. It was just preparation for the show. Show went really well. Everything was cool. Saw some familiar faces last night. Saw some new faces, and also saw some people that drove in from out of town. And give a special shout out to our friends Heather and Cassie that drove 3 hours to come see that show last night. Thanks so much for coming out. You guys appreciate it. But yeah, that pretty much made up my week. At least anything fucking interesting that anybody would want to hear. Oh, the only other thing I did with my week is I'm trying to catch up on all the CW shows so I can watch them, the CW comic book shows, DC shows, so that when they start up again, I can start watching them again. After a very long time trying to finish season 4 of Arrow, I finally got through it, and I can sincerely say the best thing about season 4 of Arrow is that I don't ever have to watch it again. What a flaming turd. So disappointing because I like that show, but season 4 was fucking trash.
Yeah,
Anyways,
it was super weird.
I'm very bitter about it. I got bad feelings about it. It made me feel nasty. It's just so cheap and junky. Anyways, that was my week. Charlie, let us tell the masses what's coming out this week for video games. Let's tell them what they can maybe spend their hard-earned money on, but probably won't, because it's probably
All right. Well, on Tuesday, September 20th, we've got Air Conflicts Double Pack coming out on PS4, The Bunker coming out on PS4, Dear Esther Landmark Edition coming out on the Xbox One and PS4, Destiny Rise of Iron on the Xbox One and PS4, Cossacks 3 coming out on the PC, Jazz Punk coming out on PS4, Last Fight coming out on PS4, Skylight Free Range 2, Gachduin or something coming out on the Vita. That's Gachduine. Gachduin is the best I can get out of that. Shin
Sounded
Megami
like
Tensei
Klingon.
4. Maybe, I'm not sure. Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse coming out on the 3DS. Killer Instinct Definitive Edition coming out on Xbox One. John, I presume that's a disc version of everything released for the game so far?
Yeah, it's the super ultimate, like, hey, we finished it after several seasons collection, though I'm not convinced that there's not going to be more. I think they're going to add more to it. We'll
Their
see.
model's been pretty successful, unless they're just going to move on to Killer Instinct 2. I don't know.
I really hope that they finish it. I'll talk about why later, but
Okay. Slain Back from Hell on the PS4. NBA 2K17 coming out on Xbox One, PS4, 360, PS3, and PC. H1Z1 King of the Hill coming out on PC. Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunters Daybreak Special Gigs coming out on PS4, PS3, and Vita. Wheels of Aurelia coming out on PC. Zenith coming out on PS4, and by far, as far as I'm concerned, the most exciting thing on this list, Batman the Telltale Series Episode 2 coming out on PC, PS3, PS4, Xbox 360, and Xbox One, although I actually expect the Xbox releases to be on Wednesday, not Tuesday, because that's their pattern. But hey, Tuesday's even better.
hey,
Wednesday, September 21st, Agenda coming out on PC, and Machinarium is getting released on the PS4. And Firewatch is coming out on the Xbox One. Nice, sweet. That was another game I was worried was going to be a console exclusive. Well, it doesn't. I mean, not worried. I mean, I would just rather play it on Xbox One because that's where I spend my time mostly. But yeah, so Firewatch, Xbox One on Wednesday, September 21st. That's exciting for me. Thursday, September 22nd, Tohu Scarlet Curiosity is coming out on the PS4. Virginia coming out on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And Friday, September 23rd, Warhammer 40k Eternal Crusade is coming out on the PC. Looking into the future, I'm going to skip the systems just because it's kind of a longer list again. So on Tuesday, September 27th, Darkest Dungeon, FIFA 17, Forza Horizon 3, Cluster Truck, I love that name.
hilarious.
Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, Shantae Half Genie Hero, Sonic Boom Fire and Ice, Valhalla Hills, XCOM 2, and Hitman Episode 5, all coming out on various platforms on Tuesday, September 27th. On Thursday, September 29th, Nebula Online, Unloved, Quantum Break, and Burly Men at Sea coming out for various platforms.
Burly Men at Sea.
Burly Men at Sea.
I believe they call that the United States Navy.
Maybe Thursday, September 29th, and then Friday, September 30th, Yokai Watch 2, Bony Spirits, Fleshy Souls. I don't know why that makes me laugh, but it does. Coming out on 3DS, and Azure Striker Gunvolt 2 also on the 3DS. Just in case anybody's super confused, Quantum Break is coming out for PC on obviously that's out on Xbox One already, so that's a PC release. But yeah, so I'm particularly looking forward to being able to play Firewatch on my Xbox One, just because that's my preference, and also, of course, Batman Telltale. How about you guys?
Batman Telltale for sure. That and Firewatch. Actually, I've heard nothing but good things about it. So I'm interested in that one. That's really kind of it for me. I mean, there's a few other things I have an interest in there, but nothing that I know realistically nothing I'll be able to get around to anytime soon.
Goat, do you guys have do you have access to be able to play the Batman game when it comes out?
Maybe. I mean, I could probably go buy it on disc. I did bring my Xbox One with me.
Right. So you brought your Xbox One with you, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay.
We gotta figure out how to get up to the bus.
So I remember when we talked about it before, when it came out. I confirmed that it's that the disc release of Batman Telltale comes with only episode 1 on the disc, because that, of course, that's all that's out, and then the rest, and then a download code for the season pass for the rest of the game. So
Just
super weird.
odd.
Yeah, very weird. I don't know why you would do that, but okay.
Odd business.
Whatever. I'll just wait till I get back.
Yeah.
Because Telltale fans understand that and expect that, but if you buy that game expecting to get the whole game and you've never played a Telltale game, it's probably just going to piss you off, is what it's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go, maybe if you're lucky, you'll park somewhere in range of a Wi-Fi, and you can hop on Xbox Live and download it real quick.
Yeah, but most Wi-Fi's like that aren't going to be able to withstand that.
It depends. I mean, like a Starbucks, probably not. It'd actually have to be like more like a mom and pop shop where not a lot of people are using it and they just, whatever. But
Yeah, we'll see.
or yeah. But yeah. But aside from that, go looking forward to anything else on this list, either now or when you come back.
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of one of those weird moods in my life where nothing's really keeping me occupied, or like I mean, other Forza Horizon 3, but that's a gimme.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. Cool. So those are the releases.
Excellent. So, let's go ahead and move on and talk a little bit about what we played this week. Charlie, did you manage to squeeze in any time to play?
I did. I actually, Goat, when he mentioned it a couple weeks ago, reminded me that I believe it was a PlayStation Plus free game that I have a copy of, Beyond Two Souls, and so I hopped into that. I have absolutely no idea how to describe where I am in the game, because if you haven't played the game, it is as not like you're playing through the main character's, I guess, like life, but in completely
Out of order.
non-sequential, completely
Yeah.
out of order. Like the prologue for the game, so far as the farthest point in the future, that's like every time a new level comes up, it adds a little marker on like this timeline. And so like the younger she is in the sequence, the farther to the left it is, and the older she is in the sequence, of course, the farther to the right it is. The prologue in the game is as far right as I've gotten, and I've played about maybe like a dozen levels all before there, all the way from when she was a little tiny girl to just through her adolescence and things like that. And so I have no idea what percentage I am through the game. I have no clue. But if you've played the game, I'll say very generically that she just helped close a portal. I'll just leave it at that. And if you
Are you enjoying it?
I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the non-traditional storytelling. It's definitely keeping me interested. The gameplay is very unconventional in terms of the there's like when you're going through like the actiony sequences, the way that the game prompts you how what it's basically a series of quick time events is really what it comes down to. Whether it's flipping the a directional stick in various directions to get you to dodge out of the way of things or attack in different directions, or with pressing or holding buttons in like a combination or a sequence to to get through something like that. The thing that I'm tripping over a little bit is that the way that the game kind of describes to you what it is that you need to do is super subtle, and I'm having a hard time just remembering like, oh, when the screen turns this color and her arms are facing this direction, I need to move in that direction. But I don't know. It's just it's a very minor thing. It's a very minor gripe. Overall, I'm enjoying the game so far. But I'll save further comment until I've finished it, just because I feel like it's one of those games where I could get to the end and be completely let down if the story isn't resolved well. You know what I mean? Like it's super story focused. Like it's definitely my kind of game in that term. Like it's basically nothing. It's basically 75% story, 25% action, which is kind of the ratio, give or take, that I prefer in my games. But so if the story doesn't pay off, if it doesn't have a good ending, I can see myself. I see the potential of being let down with how much the story is bringing me up. If you can understand what I mean by that.
Sure. You mentioned that it's unconventional. Is it unconventional for a game, just for any video game, or is it unconventional for a Quantic Dream game? Because I've heard a few people say that they like this game, but that other Quantic Dream games play better than this. They're a little more fun to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say that it's more or less fun. It's just my fun my fun meter is being hampered just a little bit by a very minor frustration of just having to like remember these very odd control mechanisms. But I mean, I blame that on me, because that's me not playing the game right. The game has been perfectly clear in telling me how to play it. It's just it's so uncommon. I'm having a hard time adjusting to it, but I blame that on me, not the game. So it's So to answer your question, I mean, a lot of Quantic Dream games have typically have odd things about them. I don't think this is that far out of the realm of what I would consider normal for Quantic Dream, personally.
Fair enough. Before I move on to Goat, for the video listeners, if you see me constantly rubbing my nose this evening, it's kind of gross. I apologize. I have a really bad cold and sick. So, and then the audio listeners will probably notice that I sound like I have a head full of snot, because I do. So sorry if I sound a little funny on the cast this week. Having said that, Goat, what did you get to play this week, if anything at all, while you were out on the road?
Let's see. I picked up 2 new mobile games for my phone. One is hold on, let me check here. One is Ignatus, Ignatius.
Ignatius?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's a little black and white side scroller kind of game. Like puzzler game, kind of like Limbo. It really kind of reminds me of Limbo, but obviously a mobile version of it.
So
it's kind of
more puzzly than action?
Yes and no. I mean, it's just like so far you got to collect 3 pieces of film to get to the portal for the level. I mean, we're talking like a mobile game here. It's not like mind-boggling, but it looks good. It plays good. I'd suggest it for Charlie because it's kind of his aesthetic.
Okay, I did.
And then I somehow got sucked into animation throwdown card game.
That's random. Is that the cartoon? No, the
animated characters from Fox.
Yeah, Family Guy and Bob's Burgers and all that.
Yeah, and it's a card game, and I don't know how I got sucked into it, but I did, and I'm okay with it because it's quick to kind of, when you got downtime and stuff like that, it works out really well. And then I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go because, ironically, like 4 out of the last 5 venues we stopped at were Pokestops.
That works.
Yeah, so I could just sit there and farm all day.
Caught anything awesome? Anything out of the ordinary?
No, I got a Meowth and stuff like that. I mean, nothing big and exciting. It's more of like, I got like 500 Pokeballs or something like that now.
Jesus Christ. What level are you at now?
18.
Nice. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting. That's where I stopped.
Yeah.
I haven't played it in weeks.
And then John's going to laugh because I was supposed to play it before the show, and my 3DS decided to die instead. But I picked up Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Interesting.
So, how are you liking it?
I haven't cracked the plastic yet, so that's going to be next week because I need power. But just so the listeners know, that review is coming, and I'm doing the Lord's work for you by playing what we presumably is going to be probably the worst game with Metroid's name on it.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. I'll maybe give you that, but people are. I'm hearing it's not as bad as people thought it was going to be.
We'll see.
Well, you know what? Goat, you just made me realize I sort of I didn't leave it off because I didn't play it, but I mentioned last week that I did get a copy of Recore, and I had that pre-ordered off of Amazon. And John linked me to a review. John, do you remember off the top of your head that reviewer's name on YouTube?
Yes, that would be Carrick from Angry Centaur Gaming, which they have recently rebranded to ACG just because it's easier.
Okay.
Yeah,
so if you're interested, check out that review because I thought John and I both thought that it was very, 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 very unbiased, like very just earnest in his opinions on things.
Yeah.
I viewed that review after it was too late to cancel my order. It was already in the process of being shipped out from Amazon, so I got it and it is sitting on my desk, and I haven't cracked the plastic on it yet because I'm a bit torn because the review basically kind of, if you didn't gather this from what I just said, the review basically gave me, kind of convinced me to try and cancel my pre-order. It's just it put me off enough, and it told me that there were enough problems with the game and enough issues with it to not get it. However, aside from the fact that it was too late to cancel it, I also discovered that because of the way when you pre-order something off of Amazon, the way that it works is they will end up charging you, even though I pre-ordered it technically at $39.99, because apparently somebody else at somewhere offered it for sale for $35.99, I think it was. Amazon price adjusted me to that to match it.
That sucks, man.
In addition to that, I got my 20% off for being a Prime member, so the game cost me after tax $29.97, which is, I mean, 30
So I mean,
bucks.
you should probably play it. You get
Yeah,
$30 out of it.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
I've
And
heard that $30 is a good price point for the game. I think Carrick
Okay.
from Angry Centaur Gaming even said like if it were $10 less or $15 less, it would make a big difference in terms of value.
Okay, so yeah, and that's sort of the way I was leaning. But Goat, since you're gonna take since
Take the
you're gonna take a hit on Federation Force, I'll go ahead and I'll take a hit on Recore
Oh,
and
God damn it!
and
That means
give
I
you
need
our
to
own
find
opinions
some
of that.
middling trash to play this week.
Mhm.
So I'll
You
see
should
what
probably
I
finish
can
Mighty
do.
Number 9.
Oh, well, that's true. It's true. It just pisses me off, is what it does. Mighty Number 9. It's irritating. Anyways,
But yeah, Goat. Sorry, I interrupted you. Did you
No, it's fine.
have
That's it.
any other thoughts or any other games?
No, that's all I got time to do today or lately.
It's
No, I did buy.
not like you've been busy or anything.
No, but I did. We were in where the hell were we? Seattle? No, Vancouver. Yeah, I was in Vancouver, and maybe yeah, and we I bought a copy of Exploding Kittens for the bus.
Oh, nice.
nice.
So I have a Canadian copy of Uncensored Exploding Kittens. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but
But does it
It's
feature
just a
any
little bit-
maple leaves?
It's
Yeah,
just a little bit
Mhm.
nicer than the American version.
yeah.
It's true.
Okay, cool.
So that leaves me. This week
Mhm.
I did play a handful of things. I ended up playing a little bit GTA Online. Nothing really new to report there. I did try a couple heists. Terrible at them. Fucking terrible at them. For God's sakes. I did play a little bit more of that survival game, The Long Dark. I won't play it for a while, and then I'll get this itch to survive. I guess I don't know. I played that for a little bit. I played Killer
What's your
Instinct.
doodad now?
So I think like almost 20 days. He's
Oh,
survived
there you
for
go.
almost 20 days. So which was what the original guy was at before I accidentally uh
Killed him.
I didn't kill him. I was going to die and once you die, you're dead. Like it's permadeath for that character, and you have to start over. I was going to die, and I was trying to think of ways to salvage him, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna start over." Um, I misjudged, miscalculated, and he was gonna freeze to death, and it made me very sad.
Yeah, you made him a
Um,
popsicle. Good job, Don.
yeah, exactly. So I played that. I played I played Battlefield Hardline actually. I played a little bit of it online. So if you guys remember, a long time ago, I played it, the campaign, and finished it. And I had checked it out from the library because I didn't want to pay $60 for a game I didn't think was going to be worth $60, and it was definitely not worth $60. But I'll tell you what it was worth. It was on sale this week for fucking $5 on Xbox Live. As a games with gold discount. So I bought the fuck out of that because even just the multiplayer component alone is worth more than $5 for me because I play multiplayer games. So I played a bunch of that. It is really kind of a disappointing game on a multiplayer level, though. It just feels really unbalanced, and a couple of the maps are shit. But hey, it's not so shitty that $5 doesn't justify the shittiness of those things. Um, I also ended up again on another like super duper dump sale. Ended up buying the season pass for Arkham Knight because I didn't play any of the like, you know, any of the like expansion content like Batgirl. I know you said that Batgirl's expansion was really good, Charlie. And,
Yeah.
my brother said one of the ones that came after Season of Infamy, I think it's called. Nick said was really fucking good, and I think it was like $10 or something I paid for.
$10 is worth it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
like
the $30 initial asking price for the season pass for Arkham Knight was not at all worth it. 20 would have been fair at launch. 10 is a great price now.
Yeah. So I figured that was a good get, and it was tough. I had to choose between that and the download pack, character pack for Mortal Kombat that had Alien and Leatherface and Bo' Rai Cho and Triborg, and it was the same thing. It was like $10. It's normally $20. I had to pick one or the other, so I felt like I was gonna get more bang for my buck if I did the Arkham. And you know what's funny? I find myself enjoying Arkham Knight again. And actually, if you guys remember, I was kind of critical of Arkham Knight because I didn't feel like it lived up to what I hoped it would be. But after it's been almost 2 years since that game came out. After 2 years of soul-crushing disappointments and half-finished games, that game feels remarkably finished to me compared to everything that's come out since it. And it did. This is my re-review. It does deliver on what it promised. At least it gave you what it promised you it was going to give you, even if it's not quite what you thought it was going to be. That's my take on it. Everything has been so goddamn janky since then. But yeah, so that was it. I think I played that and Killer Instinct. I've been playing Shadow Lords, which is the sort of, I mentioned it last week, but it's too early for me to really talk about. It's their sort of very thoughtful, like single player take on an odd sort of story mode, which feels really strange. I've never played anything like it in a fighting game um in terms of a like a single player fighting game experience that's supposed to be sort of story based. There's all kinds of unlockables. You can craft items to use that like give modifiers to your players. But it does have the unfortunate problem of feeling very much like a mobile game that was put into this game in order to get you to spend money in a microtransaction kind of capacity. You don't have to, but you're probably going to need to. And to me, it's unfortunate because it's the concepts underneath are better than the sum of its parts when you put it all together. And they've said very extensively, they're not done, they're not done. We're balancing, we're working on a lot of things, but it's supposed to launch in 2 days. So I can't see what they're going to fix in that time. You know what I mean? Like barely anything at all.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much everything I got to play this week. And
Okay. Well, that's it's you know, a pretty decent week for us in terms of being able to get some video gaming in, I guess, especially go with you being on the road and everything.
Yeah, pretty proud of it.
But yeah, so if that's everything that we played this week, I guess, John, we can move on to the news.
It's time for the news. All right, so this week's roundup of news is going to be a little bit different than last week. Last week was kind of fluffy and light, and a couple of odd things in here this week, but a little bit of jolly joy. I also had the option to discuss the possibility of a bunch of people getting fired this week, but I chose not to do that because goddamn is it always depressing, and I feel like that happens a lot more than we like to admit that it happens. Particularly in this instance, it was Disney laying off a bunch of people, which I can't imagine why Disney would need to lay anybody off considering they have more money than Jesus. But that's how it went this week. So kicking things off at number 5 this week, anybody who has a battle.net account, anybody who basically plays World of Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Overwatch, any of those games that Blizzard puts out, battle.net is the kind of handle system for their games. You can now change your battle tag for $10. If you want to change your name an infinite number of times, all it's going to cost you is $10 every time you have to do it. I hate it when companies do this. Just let me change the fucking name. It doesn't tax you as a company at all to let me change the name of the fucking account on this, unless you're Sony and you built something in your infrastructure that makes it fucking nigh impossible to change. But I hate this kind of stuff, but I guess it's good to have the option to change it as opposed to being stuck with something that you had 10 years ago that you don't want. How do you guys feel about services like this? Like on Xbox Live, you can pay to change, your gamer tag.
I don't have a problem with it, mainly because I feel like this isn't done so much. I mean, like, of course, we're talking about companies that want to make money here, so I'm sure that that's a part of their decision. But I feel like I appreciate this more from the angle of just not letting people just constantly be changing their gamer tags on a whim. Because I mean, like, I have absolutely no idea how much or little of an impact it would have on Microsoft and Battle.net's databases for to constantly have to be accommodating people changing their whatever their gamer tag is or their screen name or whatever. No clue how much or little, but just from a just from a user experience standpoint, like every time, like I know people like on Twitter, for example, that change their name on Twitter like every other day, and it drives me crazy because I never know who I'm talking to.
Steam is a lot like that too. There are people that'll go, and the only reason I know who they are is because they didn't change the image associated with their account.
Right, and as a user of the service, I find that to be very irritating.
Yeah,
personally.
It gets on my nerves too.
So I look at this more as a you can do it, but only if you really want to kind of a thing, So
to be clear too, their prior policy before implementing this is that everybody can change their battle tag once for free.
Okay,
that's it. But that's still in place. So if you want to change your battle tag once for free, you can. But any subsequent changes after that are paid. I'm wondering, it's funny. It's making me your statement of that and the realization that people do that on Steam is making me wonder if that's why they're charging is to discourage people from changing their shit so much that it's obnoxious. Maybe less people will be inclined to. I mean, if you're spending $10 to change your name, you're probably going to keep it for a while.
Yeah, that's my take on the matter.
Yeah, Goat. What are your thoughts on this stuff? You like this stuff?
I think
Don't
it's
like this stuff?
no. I mean, I think it's the $10 is there to deter shitheads.
Yeah.
You go do something, and then you change your name. And you're like, oh, it's not me. It was somebody else. It's making people accountable. For their name and what they do. So I think they should keep it. I don't mind. I changed mine once. That whatever.
I have changed my gamer tag one time, and my Steam handle one time, and I've had my Steam account for over 10 years at this point, I think. And it went from my original, when I used to play in Digital Mindy, my handle for actually my PlayStation Network handle is the same because you can't change it. I used to go by, it was like our email address for Digital Mindy. When we were all in Digital Mindy, we would do like digital in our name and then at digitalmindy.com. So my gamer tag and handles for everything used to be Digital John. And, I changed it when I updated it to, Fallon Flynn, and except for on PlayStation Network, it's still Digital John. Or maybe it's Digital Juno. I don't remember.
I think it's Digital Juno.
I think it's Digital Juno.
It's what I remember from what I added you.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I'm in the exact same boat as you on that. I had a handle I used to use the same handle for everything, and then I sort of just gave up that, and then now I've moved on to being Tech Charlie on everything except for the few services like PlayStation where I'm not able to change it, and it just bugs me when I go on there. It's just I have to log in as Plug Pro still. It's just like
there used to be like an evolution to my gamer tags and handles and stuff like that, and Juno was always in those things until the movie Juno came out, and then everyone's like, oh, you named yourself after Ellen Page. And I was like, well, it's time to change that. Thanks for fucking ruining. It's the only thing I think in my life I've ever had where it was like some shit came and landed on me that was already I was doing first, and then it kind of ruined it for me. You hear people say that shit all the time. It's the only thing I think I've ever had happen to me like that. But I digress. So that was number 5 for the week for anybody who might have been looking to change those tags. Moving on to number 4 for the week. Steam dumps developer for being hostile to customers. This fucking story is insane. I one of those can't wrap my fucking head around what's going on in this stories. So Digital Homicide is the developer in question here, and they tried to sue 100 Steam customers for $18 million. I knew that was going to get you to fucking laugh, Charlie.
Oh God, this is already so good. Okay.
Oh, it gets worse, far worse.
I imagine. I have no doubt.
Fuck. Valve has booted a developer in its game from Steam for being, quote, hostile to Steam customers. Hostile is putting it mildly. Developer Digital Homicide was trying to sue 100 Steam users for around $18 million. The same lawsuit tried to subpoena, effectively force, for anybody who knows what subpoena is, Valve for Steam's users' real identities so they could fucking sue the shit out of them. Digital Homicide felt it had been the target of a harassment campaign, particularly at the hands of the group Digital Homicide's Poop Games. It actually says that in the lawsuit, by the way. So anybody who doesn't know, you can create groups around a game in Steam. You can create little social networks around a game in Steam and just discuss that game. And somebody created the group Digital Homicide's Poop Games, which makes me fucking laugh. Not long after the lawsuit was filed, Digital Homicide's games disappeared from Steam. Valve spokesperson Doug Lombardi then issued a statement via TechRaptor that said, Valve has stopped doing business with Digital Homicide for being hostile to Steam customers. It doesn't appear to be a great loss. Digital Homicide's games were reportedly rubbish, with names such as Wyatt Derp. Can we please call the episode title Wyatt Derp this week?
Yes, we can.
Winged Knights Penetration. And last but certainly not fucking least, Not in My Crapper. Every one of these would be amazing fucking show titles.
Oh boy.
You know what? I have fucking idea for a lead in too. There's our fucking lead in. Today on Gamerhead Radio, Find out where Wyatt Derp and the Winged Knights of Penetration are. Hint, not in my crapper. Gamerhead, that's going to be the fucking lead-in.
Yes, please bookmark that. But yes,
we will. They're all listed on Digital Homicide's garish website, and it is a fucking super tacky website. I'm gonna do a little screen sharing so you guys can see what a fucking. Where is it at? Oh, it's gone. They took it down. Fucking, I looked at it like 2 hours ago. It's gone.
What was it?
Digital Homicide's website. It's gone.
The whole website's down?
Yeah, it's down.
Oh.
It's down. Popular U.S. game critic Jim Sterling called Digital Homicide's Slaughtering House a contender for worst game of 2014. Digital Homicide struck back at Sterling in March this year by trying to sue him for $10 million for, quote, assault, libel, and slander. Digital Homicide even tried briefly to crowdfund the legal battle against him. Valve can and presumably will contest the subpoena. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Good God. Yeah, Charlie may have found a copy of the link that we need.
Yeah, I went to. It looks like at least I did a Google search to see. I was going to use Google Cache just to look at a previous version of it, but it looks like the URL may have been. I don't know if it got changed or what, but I found. It looks like I found it, John. If this is the same site that you saw at digitalhomicide.ninja.
Yeah, something happened because this is the site that I was looking at earlier. Yeah, it's basically if you look at the fucking website here, I'll do a little screen share. If you look at the website, it's really basic and plain to start with, but it's the whole fucking splash page is basically them just raging against everybody that hates their games and fucking straight up asking for legal to help them with their legal representation up here. How bizarre. And then you can buy a bundle of 50 of their games. I gotta be honest with you, a part of me feels like it might be there's fucking Wyatt Derp. A part of me almost kind of feels like at $2 and $3 a game that I just want to buy this whole bundle and start reviewing them poorly, just doing like spoof reviews of these games. But
that would give them money, John.
Well, no, they're going to try to sue me for $10 million is what's going to happen. But yeah, so that fucking happened this week. What the hell is wrong with these people, man? Any thoughts on this, gentlemen? Other than that, it's insane.
It's ridiculous. That's my thought. This is stupid.
They're getting their 5 minutes of fame for being ridiculous. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Like every 2 years, there's a developer that goes sue happy to cash in or whatever. So this is, excuse me. I mean, at least this one's like aptly titled Digital Homicide because that's exactly what they're doing.
John, you left off the most important part of the story.
Oh God, what did I miss?
Not only is there Wyatt Derp, but there is also Wyatt Derp 2 Peacekeeper. That game got a sequel.
I gotta tell you, man, somebody must have fucking bought it if it got a sequel.
Yikes!
I almost feel like I don't want to play any of them except for Wyatt Derp,
which you can buy with PayPal, credit card, or Bitcoin.
Oh, good God. Well, let's just move away from this steaming pile of shit. I do want to show you guys one more thing though from this story. This is a screen cap here. Woof. Of one of their games, just to give you an idea of the caliber project we're working with here. That's high art. That's what that is.
This looks like Wolfenstein era graphics here.
It does. It really does.
And so for the audio listeners, we're looking at a screen cap of a game called Bloodbath, and it looks legitimately like this game. Like it looks like it was a Wolfenstein 3D skin, like the original pre-Doom.
Like maybe like made in '96 is what I feel.
Yeah,
is possibly the case.
Yeah, it's not good.
Fucking terrible.
Moving
on to number 3 for the week. Very disappointing to hear this. It seems as though with the release of the remasters of the BioShock games this week, everything ended up being pretty good. Everybody was relatively happy with the changes and the upgrade to the game, except for the poor bastards on the PC have been shafted yet again. most people are taking to Steam to complain that the upgrades are minimal, if even noticeable at all. And one of the big things, if you watch the trailers for this remaster, it touts is like before and after shots of like, look how much we dressed this up and improve the visuals for the modern age. And I watched a couple of those before and after comparison trailers and look fantastic. And for all intents and purposes, that seems to have taken place as promised on the console versions of these games, but not so much on the PC. So to give you an idea of what some of the people are saying about the game, this is as lazy as PC porting gets, folks. BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite have been remastered, with all three making their first current gen console appearances earlier this past week. The re-releases for BioShock and BioShock 2 came to Windows PC earlier this week as well, a little bit after the console releases. And Steam reviewers have already warned others to heed caution before returning to Rapture. Several issues plague the remastered editions, according to user comments. Some of those are carried over from the original PC releases, like mouse acceleration and sensitivity problems, and others have to do with texturing options or a lack thereof. Quoted as saying from one person who gave their opinion on the game looks like BioShock is pretty much in most regards only. The game looks like BioShock in pretty much most regards, only a better lighting and very slight sharper texture pack was implemented. The game looks good with 1080p when it wants to run well. It does so brilliantly. Problem is that it stutters, and apparently people have crashes. This person said they only played for 30 minutes, and it crashed inside of that time frame. Other problems include random difficulty resets. One person complained that the game won't launch and that the intros cannot be skipped. Although most praise the new textures, there's little else the top reviewers and the forum users have found to be worth the purchase. The original publisher of this article was Polygon, and they said that they're going to reach out and actually see if they can get some sort of commentary from 2K. So if anybody if anybody updates this, I'll make sure to update everybody on the show here. It is worth noting, though, that in a recent interview, original creator Ken Levine said he was not involved with 2K and the developer Blind Squirrel's port of the BioShock trilogy. Um, you know, there seems to be a trend that has really developed in the last 2 or 3 years, where the first party company subcontracts a third party company for the PC to do the work for them. And it seems like 9 out of 10 times, this is always the fucking end result. There's always a disappointing port. It's either half finished, doesn't work the way it's advertised, or there have been a couple of high profile titles, not Arkham Knight being one of them recently, where they just said, we're not going to finish it. Sorry, here's your money back. Like, fuck. What is it going to take to get games ported to PC properly? Obviously, games can be developed appropriately for the platform. It makes me wonder if console developers just don't have the staffing to do that appropriately, because who they staff don't work on PC titles. I would love to know from anybody who works in the development world how big of a discrepancy there is between a console developer and a PC developer, if there's any at all. I would really love to know what that is.
Well, I mean, just generally speaking, I mean, this is my best understanding is that, developing for PC is generally considered to be more difficult and complicated because you have an infinite combination of possibilities of hardware to worry about. Aside from the fact that, even when you're mixing in the two major, video card options, whether it's ATI or NVIDIA, then there's little nuances between, different versions of DirectX and just all the different little things that you have to worry about when with developing for PC versus an Xbox One is an Xbox One is an Xbox One, and that, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Even with these new, more powerful, PS4s and Xbox Ones coming out, I mean, it's still the same. Like, it's still the same hardware. It's just, a little bit faster. They don't. So I don't get the impression that the developers really have to do anything different there. And even then, 2 options is still better than a nearly infinite combination of options on the PC side. So, maybe if a developer is typically more console focused, like in this case, I'm guessing is probably the case. I can understand why they would want to involve a company that maybe supposedly at least purports to be specialized in being able to be more familiar with the intricacies of dealing with the different hardware combinations on PC. Maybe that's why one of the bigger and reasons why console games get these treatments for PC is why they keep going so badly is where I get confused.
Yeah. Goat, any thoughts on these?
Goat actually stepped away to the restroom.
Oh, great.
John, check your texts. But
I missed it.
But
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, so here's where I'm getting a little bit confused though. So, John, my understanding from what you're saying is that the improvements that were promised are present on the console, but are not as good on the PC. Is that
That's what it is. It's not that they're not there. It's that the amount of inconsistencies in what they're presenting is what a lot of the Steam reviews are saying. And I went and thumbed through some of these just to see sort of how drastic people's opinions were. And a lot of people, PC gamers, have a tendency to be very particular anyways, because they're used to their games having a certain level of polish and presentability to them. But if you're talking about something like this, where it's a port, especially of such a beloved series, man, everybody loves BioShock. I know very few people who don't like it, unless they just don't like first-person shooters or single-player first-person shooters. I think people were expecting a little bit more care in the handling of it on the PC. And I think that a lot of PC gamers are getting tired of ports. I think there's kind of the same way that like everybody universally in video games doesn't trust licensed like movie tie-in video games. I think PC gamers have the same sort of attitude towards ports of console games, specifically beloved or well received console games, because I think that this happens all the time. You get told you're going to get one thing and then you get something else entirely different, and then what you get is kind of less than on a hardware setup that is far superior to consoles. So what the fuck, I think, is kind of the feeling there, and you can see why people want to just kind of stop spending money on that stuff.
Do you suppose that there are conspiracy theorists out there that wonder if this is intentional to get people to like game on PC instead of to game on console instead of PC because console piracy is more difficult?
I hadn't considered that actually, but I think that's an interesting question. I almost want to find a way to phrase that into a mailbag question.
Sure. Okay.
Coming up, if we can put a pin in that. Actually, I'm gonna put a note on this for us to do that later. But I think that that's a possibility. I'd like to think that a company wouldn't spend money on a product that they know is broken, might tarnish their reputation just to push people in the other direction, but who the fuck knows?
Well, yeah, but it would only in this, so we'll avoid getting into this conversation too deep, but just because we want to save that. But just to respond to that comment, they would only be tarnishing their reputation with the customers that they don't want, because they, if in this conspiracy theory anyway.
Interesting.
What the hell?
You missed the whole show.
I step away to take a pee and come back to Tinfoil Hat Radio.
What is Tinfoil Hat Radio? Where's your hat, Goat?
No, I'm not saying I think this. I'm just positing that there probably are people that do. The theory is well, just the thought that I had was you were talking about how ports to PC are constantly being mishandled, and so I posed the question. I wonder if there are conspiracy theorists out there that think that maybe these bad ports to PC are intentional because they want to get people to game on console instead, because console piracy is more difficult.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Just a thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you missed.
Then it sells more consoles.
We may be making that into some form of a mailbag question for next week, just so you know, since you were relieving your bladder.
Yeah, sorry about that. It just hit me, and I was like, I need to go.
Yeah, no worries.
So everybody in this small parking lot just got to see me pee for about 20 minutes. So
cool.
No, I'm joking. We have facilities on the tube.
Right on. Moving on to number 2 for the week, then. I think this is really fucking cool. Anybody who knows anything about the Witcher series outside of just that it's a video game probably knows that it's developed
lifestyle.
by Polish developer CD Projekt Red. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the Witcher series is a big deal in Poland. It's like a big point of national pride in Poland. The Witcher 2 was responsible for gaining a certain level of capital in Poland that made CD Projekt Red like damn near a national treasure in Poland. No joke. There, I mean, it's massively. I'm exaggerating just a smidge, but I'm not really fucking exaggerating. Like they can do no wrong in Poland. To the extent where at one point President Obama, while visiting Poland, said that the Witcher was in his backlog of games to play. Let's be clear, President Obama doesn't play fucking video games.
At least not that kind of.
No,
thing.
but I mean,
he might play Candy Crush, but not like this.
Play fucking.
Let's be honest. I think he's probably in the top tier of prison architect.
Oh, you're not wrong. That's bleak, Goat. Very even for you. Well, the reason I mentioned the pride, the big booming pride of Poland versus The Witcher is because Poland has seen fit to put The Witcher on a stamp, a postage stamp in Poland. I mean, like in the United States, you see like Elvis on stamps, and you see like usually people from history or people of cultural relevance. In Poland, you get.
John is frozen. His internet may have just gone down again. So,
it's funny.
Huh?
I laugh even harder because I'm on a phone and have more stable internet than he does.
Yeah. I do believe that John's internet just
and here I am, literally sitting in a tin tube in the middle of a mall parking lot in Boise.
I'm back.
Oh wait,
great signal.
He's back. Okay.
All right. Just a little hiccup in my internet connection. Didn't mean to scare the shit out of you guys.
No problem. So go ahead.
I wish it would have cut in.
What's that?
I said I wish it would have cut in about 5 seconds before it actually did kick back in, which you would have seen me going, motherfucker, fucking Xfinity, goddamn Comcast.
So for the audio, go ahead and just restart your thought there.
For the audio, what I was saying is that Poland put Geralt on a stamp, man. There's a postage stamp now in Poland that features, and normally you see, like I was saying, you see Elvis, you see people of historical reference or significance, somebody who's contributed to something in society in the States, but in Poland you get Geralt of Rivia. And here's an image of the stamp so that anybody who's interested can see. It is literally just like an image from the fucking stock art from the game that they smashed up onto a postage stamp. I think this is badass.
That's pretty cool.
I would actually buy this just to have it as like a collector's item, honestly.
Yeah. Do we know anybody in Poland that can mail us a letter?
Well, you can. Here's an example. You can actually you can find them on eBay. This guy, however, is selling it for 99 cents plus $6.99 shipping. So I mean, you can buy them. You can get them shipped to you. No, it's not terrible. I mean,
$7 for a stamp you can't get.
This guy has 5 available, 15 sold.
So he's probably a postal worker.
I find that, or just somebody who lives near a post office. I find that to be completely reasonable. I mean, they could be inflating that a lot more if they wanted to.
That strikes me as the sort of thing that would actually be worth something as a collector's item later, though, because I don't. Outside of Poland, where are you going to find that? You know what I mean? Yeah, for
sure. Yeah, and it'll double down as a stamp for stamp collectors too.
Yeah. Very cool, man. Very cool. In Poland, it's actually being sold for what translates to roughly $1.55 US.
That's not bad.
So kind of cool, man. I would like to have one of these. I'm maybe I'll snag one. We'll see.
Yeah.
So not particularly a news story that's going to.
You could just offer to trade him some Star Trek stamps because those might not be available in Poland.
That is true. Maybe.
And then we never hear about John anymore because he's in the black market of stamping.
That's true. Worst fucking rock and roll guy ever. Like I collect stamps. Star Trek
Same
stamps, Witcher stamps. I collect them all straight. But yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to number 1 for the week. I figured that this was going to happen coming up. I figured it was going to take a few weeks for the backlash to start catching up. But now that No Man's Sky is out, and now that No Man's Sky has received decidedly bad reviews, not even mediocre, just bad in most cases, the finger pointing begins. So the Sony executive Shuei Yoshida is saying that Hello Games marketing for No Man's Sky was bad. And he slammed the headline saying that they slammed Hello Games marketing. So the narrative around No Man's Sky has solidified in the 5 weeks since its release. Many players believe that they were misled by the marketing for the game that developer Hello Games promised more than it delivered with the open world space exploration and survival game. Shuei Yoshida, president of Sony's worldwide studios, said in an interview with Eurogamer that while he, quote, really enjoyed what he's played of No Man's Sky, he feels for those players, saying, I understand some of the criticisms, especially Sean Murray is getting, because he sounded like he was promising more features in the game from day one. It wasn't a great PR strategy, he says. Yoshida said that the massive day one patch for No Man's Sky made him sympathize with Hello Games' efforts to make good on its promises, but he believes that the developer's promotional plan for the game didn't serve them well because of the incredible, unsustainable amount of hype that it built up. Yoshida blamed the situation on Hello Games being an indie team that didn't know how to market its game appropriately and should have had a public relations apparatus on hand for guidance. It wasn't a great PR strategy because he didn't have a PR person helping him, and in the end, he is an indie developer, said Yoshida. Of course, Sony did its fair share of hyping up No Man's Sky, which is the part that I particularly cling to because I feel like they're laying a lot more of the blame for this at No Man's Sky, or Hello Games' feet than they probably should be. Yoshida noted Hello Games' promises of expanding No Man's Sky with new features and said he's, quote, looking forward to continuing to play the game. Some players are fed up, however, and they have no recourse if they bought No Man's Sky digitally. Try as they might, they are not receiving expectations to the standard PlayStation Store and Steam refund policies from Sony or Valve. We talked a little bit about whether or not this was Hello Games' fault, Sean Murray's fault, or Sony's fault. Them saying that Hello Games should have had a PR person on hand, I almost kind of feel like that's a cop-out on Sony's behalf because you cannot tell me with the amount of hype and buzz that this game generated that Sony didn't have a big hand in how it was marketed. You can't tell me as the distributor for the game, where marketing is primarily done on their side, the developer develops the game, the distributor usually promotes and markets the game. I kind of feel like one is just as much to blame for this as the other one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, you're talking about like the right and the left hand here. I mean, like it's, trying to blame one for not knowing what the other one is doing. I mean, I don't think that that's an acceptable excuse in this case. I mean, the marketers are only going to do well. I mean, like the marketers should only be doing what the developers and the publishers, tell them to market. I mean, like if the marketers went rogue and the developers through their various channels, whether it be community management or social media posts or whatever, they could have made corrections that they didn't make. So I don't buy it personally.
Yeah. What about you, Goat?
Yeah, it sounds like it was a failure, and instead of Sony manning up and taking it, they're saving face by just making the little guy take the fall, and vice versa, though.
How much of this do you all believe is Sean Murray? Because
almost all of it.
Everything that he displayed prior to the game's release was that of a fairly humble, earnest guy, and a lot of people are saying that was just a ploy to get you to sympathize with him and buy his game when it came out. Do you guys buy that, or do you think there was any honesty in his presentation?
No, it's probably all. I mean, money makes the world go round, so I never believed that for a minute. Like, it's just one of those. If I can get $1 million or I can get $10, I'm going to do what it takes to get $1 million first, way before I get $10. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What do you think, Charlie?
I don't know. I don't think I saw enough of the interviews.
Oh, Pyro.
Yeah, I got Pyro on my lap. His nose up in frame. I don't think I saw enough of the you know, all pretty much everything I heard about him was third hand, mostly on this show from John reading stuff and man, you know, just various other interactions. Just 'cause, I mean, I didn't really have any interest in this game myself to start with, so I wasn't following it closely. So I don't know. I'm not in the position to be able to have the best educated opinion, but basing just from what I do know. And just my gut feeling on the matter, I almost feel like it's a little bit of A and a little bit of B. I feel like he really believed that they were going to be able to do these things, and so he was just trusting in his development team and everybody to pull it off. And so when he was saying that you could do these things that you ended up not being able to do exactly, I don't think he was being dishonest. I think he was just promising something that he wanted to deliver and then ended up not being able to. That's the gut feeling I have on the matter.
See, that's kind of my take. I feel like he just really believed. He just really believed in what he was putting out there, you know. And he did try to preface it. I kind of had a feeling that it was going to be a certain type of mellow, because he kept telling people that. Now, don't get carried away before you guys play this game. I want you to understand this is not supposed to be like a fast pace. This is supposed to be you chill and you explore the planet, and it's supposed to be very mellow and, you know, not trying to like, you know, speed run anything. Like, he was very clear about that and said it a lot, you know, before the launch of the game. Like, don't expect that kind of game, because if that's what you're expecting, you're going to be disappointed, and then you're going to be mad at me. And that's exactly what happened anyways.
Yeah.
The one part of this article I did like, though, was that Shuei Yoshida did say that some of it was the unbelievable, unmanageable amount of hype that built up around the game, which we talked about, you know, previously. So I don't know, a little bit of an update. I'm really interested to see what all happens when things reach a point where the dust has settled and Sean Murray can come out and actually kind of opine and give his side of things. Because that's the thing, is he's been mum. I mean, he gives updates on Twitter and stuff about the game and updates that are coming for the game, but he has not discussed the controversy of this game that I'm aware of publicly yet. You know, he has not given his opinion or his side of things. And that's what I want. I really would love to hear what he has to say, because I think a lot of the gaps and blanks will be filled in by that.
Yep.
So,
yeah. And then that'll be when he announces No Man's Sky 2, the game we promised you.
Maybe. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a year or two before we get a tell-all on this, but I'll be very interested when that eventually happens.
Oh yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to be coming down the pipeline.
And John. Okay, John is currently experiencing either the world's longest sneeze buildup, with how his frame is frozen, or his internet is giving him issues yet again. So hopefully he'll recover here in just another second.
Hey, all I'm saying is this is helping Verizon out.
Yeah, you might want to contact Verizon about maybe them sponsoring us, because, well, I mean, this would be a very good advertisement for them right now. Okay, so Goat, any good gaming stories from the tour bus so far?
No, not really. I mean, first week. So I mean, and I put it up on social media. We're trying to get into our groove and our regiment first before we start adding extra stuff.
Sure.
To that. You know, I mean, obviously I'm at work. The first goal is putting on a stellar show for people who paid for it.
Yep.
Not playing video games. So we're getting there. So far so good. We've been fortunate enough to hammer out some fucking killer shows. So give me another week or so, and we'll see if we get the Xbox hooked up, or you know, or I'll have Metroid, or, you know, I mean, it's just priorities first, gaming second when I'm on the road.
No, makes sense. Makes total sense.
John left.
Yeah. So he probably is having to restart his modem right now. So it'll probably be a minute or two before he's back. This problem cropped up on him last week, and I think he had to reboot his modem twice. His Comcast modem, I want to specify.
It's probably because he has No Man's Sky, hasn't bought No Man's Sky yet, and they know he has a Steam account, and they're just punishing him.
Stranger things have happened, I suppose. Do, do,
Oh,
do,
man.
so
Time filling.
um so yeah, so guys, this is you may have met him previously. This is Pyro. This is my puppy. Um,
AP.
Goat says hi. He's I call him a Boston Chihuahua. He's half Boston Terrier and half Chihuahua. Um, and yeah, look at him. Woo! He's his collar gave him a rash, so he's currently has some sores on the top of his neck that we're having to put ointment on, and he's feeling a little down about the whole situation. So he needed some lap times. That's why he's on my lap right now.
Oh,
John has confirmed that his modem is
his motor has
restarting.
taken a poop.
Yeah. So so yeah.
So this is like the first. This is working out pretty good for a success.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, so Goat, I know that that you said that you had played a little bit of Pokemon Go. Do you have the buddy
Yeah.
update?
I might. I haven't really dug into it. I've literally just turned it on when, kind of like, oh, I'm over here. Like, what's in
Okay.
this town? Yeah, I'm not.
If
I'm not
what I
like leaving the bus and wandering around. I'm actually playing it pretty hardcore.
Okay, what I can tell you is that if when you after you get the buddy update, once you actually launch the
Yeah.
game doesn't tell you that it's in there at all. Like
Yeah.
the update notes tell you that it's in there, but the game doesn't direct you towards the new feature. So you actually have to go into your own profile, and from there you can select one of your Pokemon to be your buddy, and then he like
Okay.
walks around with you, and then you earn candy for your buddy as you walk. And so it makes sense to do that for a Pokemon that you're trying to get candy for that you are having that trouble doing so otherwise. So,
Okay.
John has returned. John, how are you? How are you feeling about your Comcast connection? Well,
I am kind of back.
okay.
So, like, anybody who knows me knows that I'm a fairly gentlemanly human being. But I would really, really like to find the president of Comcast and piss in his hair and make him sit out in the sun and let it dry as a punishment for how terrible my fucking internet has been for the last 2 weeks. I mean, like, it's just unacceptable. Anyways, though,
you wouldn't want to do that to the president of Comcast as a whole. You'd want to do that to the guy that's in charge of like maintaining your local network. That's the guy you would need to be mad at. Or maybe his boss. Maybe his boss is the one you need to be mad at, so he can yell at the guy and actually get him to fix it.
Starts at the top, Charlie. Starts at the top, and the piss will trickle downhill.
Is that how that works?
That is how it works. It works. I'm just gonna be.
That's trickle down economics, isn't it?
Yeah, that is trickle down economics. That's what they meant. Peeing in people's hair. Peeing in the president of Comcast hair. Having said that, moving on for fuck's sakes. Now that we're done with the news for the week, let's go ahead and talk about our feature. So, as kind of a spoiler alert from last week, we were going to talk about Interplay, one of the big news stories that I left out intentionally. Which, by the way, Charlie, we are able to answer Songbird's email this week since we saved it from last week.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Interplay. So, anybody who's played video games and followed video games beyond the last 10 years will probably have played at some point in their life an Interplay game. Some of the games that I had the most fun playing as a kid that I remember came from Interplay. And the reason that we're discussing this week is because the news story that was left out last week was about how Interplay, long defunct Interplay, is now going to be selling their stock house of IPs. They're going to be unloading everything. And they're going to be basically selling everything off to the highest bidder. Part of what we wanted to discuss during this feature is the history of some of those games, kind of our memories with some of those games, and what we think would be the best implementation and use of these IPs, and maybe who they should go to. To give you guys an idea of some of the famous names that you may not even remember or have realized Interplay is in charge of. Just to name a few: Alone in the Dark, the Baldur's Gate series, Another World, which everybody might know as Out of This World, Bard's Tale, Battle Chess, fucking Battle Chess. Oh my god, I can't even begin to express how excited I was to play Battle Chess as a kid. I still like Battle Chess. Carmageddon, the Clay Fighter series, the Descent series, the Earthworm Jim series, probably the thing they're most famous for, I would imagine. That, and they did the original Fallout games before Bethesda bought the license for it. Heart of Darkness, if you guys remember that, was a PlayStation game that had a sort of side scroller type game. Had a little boy in it. Lost Vikings, the MDK games, which I think are quietly brilliant and unappreciated in the modern age. The long talked about PlayStation 1 game Messiah. Do you guys remember that?
Vaguely.
It was like it was in every fucking gaming magazine at the time, and it was supposed to be. It was going to revolutionize the gaming industry, but it took forever to come out, and then it ended up being really bad. Redneck Rampage was another Interplay game, and then Wild 9 was a PlayStation 1 game that I remember was pretty well reviewed, if I recall correctly. Just to name a few. I mean, their list is a lot more extensive than that. What are your guys' memories of this? What are your guys?
Well, I mean,
Go ahead, go.
oh, I said, well, I mean, the first like 10 games you said was pretty much my childhood. I
Yeah.
played every single one of them and beat
That's
them.
what I'm saying. I mean, like, we played a lot of these games, man.
Yeah. I really enjoyed MDK. That's
God.
that's one of their just like which for a game that's supposedly short for like murder, death, kill or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean it was actually a really fun, like really smart and kind of original game. And it's like a over the shoulder third person action game, but it had a lot of interesting things going for it, especially in the design side of things.
Mhm.
I played the crap out of Descent back in the day. Descent
That was
see.
a proto PC, like everybody that played PC gaming at that time played Descent. It was like one of those games that it was like Descent or Wolfenstein, or like it was one of those games around that time where if you had a PC, you were playing Descent.
Yep, and then not to mention all of the Star Trek games that they produced. I mean,
They had that license for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it was the 25th anniversary Star Trek game that they put out, which was original series, which is not typically in my bag, but I mean that was a really fun game. I played that game quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then
To give you an idea of the Star Trek licenses that they had the license from 92 to 2001. So they had the license for like a decade. And it was Star Trek 25th Anniversary, Star Trek Judgment Rights, Klingon Academy, New Worlds, Starfleet Academy, Chekhov's Lost Missions, Starfleet Command, Starfleet Command 2, Empires at War, Starfleet Command 2, Orion Pirates, and that was the last of their Star Trek license stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Oh, they also did a movie tie-in Waterworld game.
But not the Virtual Boy version. They looks like the one that they did was for Windows, DOS, and 3DO.
Yeah, that's correct.
Which, side note, the fact that we're listing DOS as a platform here actually makes me really happy.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of other games in this list too. At one point, it looks like they had the license for the J.R.R. Tolkien estate for some Lord of the Rings games back in 90, 92, 94. I would love to look those up and see what they look like. I can't fathom what the fuck they look like. But I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there. There was one particular game they noted in here that I thought was just, I had forgotten the name of and couldn't believe that it ever existed. What the fuck was this game called? I don't know. Battle Cruiser 3000 AD. This was a game that touted the kind of features that No Man's Sky is talking about now. And this game came out in 98. And I remember being so excited to play this game. It was Battle Cruiser Millennium, I think, was the one that I played. But it was like you could go from space to ground, and it was supposed to be in real time. And there were all these amazing things you could do with your ship, but it was terrible. It's fucking unplayably bad. They also did Booger Man. If you guys remember Booger
Oh yeah, I
Man.
still have that.
Yeah. There's and then two other games on their in their catalog that stand out to me as games I played a ton of was the Clay Fighter series.
Oh yeah.
The original Clay Fighter was a staple at my house whenever we had like a family party for like the 2 years after I got it. You know, we our house at that time was a common place for Christmas and Easter and you know and parties like that. And the fact that I had Clay Fighter for my Super Nintendo, that was basically where we ended up. Like me and the other people there that were my age. It was very 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 popular. That and then it was on my list and I just lost it. The Lost Vikings. Lost
I
Vikings.
love the Lost Vikings, man. That
Which
game
was
was so fucking smart. It was
which
hard.
was developed by Blizzard, to be clear,
Yeah.
and published by Interplay, but still.
That game also had really good music for its time too, as
Yes.
I remember it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, really well realized music.
Yeah.
They need to bring Clay Fighter back. They need to
Yes.
bring Clay Fighter back because Clay Fighter had, and I'm gonna read the names, but I'm gonna screen share to show people who are watching the live stream some of these fucking characters. All right, at the top, Bad Mr. Frosty, Blue Suede Goo, Bonker, who's a clown, Helga, Ichabod Clay, N-Boss, Taffy, the Blob, and Tiny.
And so for the audio listeners, in case you haven't played Clay Fighter, I mean the style of this game, it was you know like a lot of the fighting games back in this day, like the you know they were basically like the original Mortal Kombat was famous for this also, where they they actually took photographs of the characters and they basically digitized those photos and put them in game. Well, they did this but with stop motion claymation figures basically, and so like just the look and just the feel of the game, just because of how it wasn't like CG characters, it was like actual like clay figures that they made and then photographed and then digitized and put in the game for all the animations, which looked great. It had a really unique look about it. It's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very cool. Very unique game. Nothing ever quite like it before. They did do a follow-up to it, which was
they had two follow-ups. So they had Clay Fighter. They had the Clay Fighter 2, which was on Super Nintendo, came out in '95, and then they had Clay Fighter 63 and a third, which came out in '97 for the Nintendo 64.
How the fuck did I miss that?
And then which was then and then Clay Fighter the Sculptor's Cut for the Nintendo 64 was a Blockbuster Video rental exclusive released in 1998.
Holy shit.
Yeah, which was
I remember 63 and a third now. I'm looking at the cover art for it, and you're right, I do remember this now. Man, it's not good.
And then which as it happens, apparently the Sculptor's Cut, because it was never sold like in retail, it was only a rental copy, is apparently very prized as a collector's item, just because the only way you could get it is by buying used copies from Blockbuster.
A little early licensing. They had two guest characters, Earthworm Jim and Booger Man, were in that game. I never played it, man. Never played it. Unbelievable.
So the question is with Interplay, looking to sell off, a lot of their licenses, at least the stuff that hasn't already been sold off. Who do you guys think would be the proper people to buy up some of these properties, and why? Do you guys have any thoughts right out of the gate?
You know what's funny? I'm gonna do a quick scan of the list because I feel like there are obvious answers based on the game. Like Alone in the Dark, they tried relaunching that. Atari, I think, now owns the license for it, and they did it a few years ago, and it was really, really heavily touted, and it was a big push behind it, and the ideas in it were far better than the execution of those ideas. It was not very good ultimately. Kind of episodically presented. They would do like the loading screens were like previously on Alone in the Dark type things, which was kind of ahead of its time because a lot of games are doing that now. Neat, but I don't think Atari is the right developer for that. I would like to see Alone in the Dark go to what's the fucking name of the company that developed my brain's not working. Scary fucking game that was a video camera and the green lighting, fucking DLC for it's called Whistleblower. Outlast. Yeah, that's right. Let me look up who the developer is for that. That's who I would like to see. Red Barrel Studio. That's who I would like to see that game go to, because fucking Alone in the Dark is terrifying, or should be terrifying.
Yes. That sounds like a good pick. The first one that comes to my mind is I want Ubisoft to pick up the license to Earthworm Jim and hand it over to their Ubi art department.
Yes.
The people that have been remaking the
Yes.
Rayman games.
Yeah,
That's a fucking no-brainer. That's
yeah.
perfect.
yeah.
Really.
Well, and the other no-brainer is Bard's Tale goes to Blizzard.
Yeah, or Bethesda.
Uh,
Do
but
it as
I'm
like a
saying,
mobile game.
but the over the top like dungeon crawlers, like what Bard's Tale is, should just go to,
Mhm.
should just go to Blizzard. They
Um,
mastered that.
Another World, or Out of This World, as it was known in the States. That game is in my like top 10 best Super Nintendo games I've ever played. Was so far ahead of its time, graphically, and in terms of it was like a did not hold your hand, fuck you, it's hard kind of a game. And I think it was Interplay published it, but I think Delphine's Software is are the ones that developed it. And God, they did that in Flashback, if you remember Flashback, though that one was not published by Interplay, I don't think. Fuck, those games were good. So far ahead of their time. I would love to see another world go to Outside Games, the ones that or no, was it Outside Games? The guys who developed Inside and Limbo.
Oh yeah, I could see that. That makes
Yeah.
that makes perfect sense.
Play Dead Games. That's who it was. I had to check it out. My old memory is not what it used to be. Looking at this list, any of the Baldur's Gate stuff, I feel like you could probably give to Blizzard, and they would do it up right. Because Baldur's Gate was kind of an online game of its time. You know what I mean? Developed by BioWare though, so I don't know that they would want to swap that up. They would be my next choice, I think.
I've got kind of a sideways one for you. I want, like, I kind of talked a little bit about MDK a bit earlier, and one of the things I liked about it is just it was like stylistically and just kind of like the world that they were building with like the story.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm having trouble remembering the details, but what I do remember is that I was just really impressed with just the effort that they put into like building this world and this story and everything. I would like Naughty Dog to take over MDK
That would be fun.
and make like a Naughty Dog scale and style action game, and then like they do, but have it be in the MDK universe. I think that would be super interesting.
Right on. Yeah, I could see that. I would say either them or based on what they did with what was it? You love this game, Charlie. It's the one that has Andy Serkis doing the fucking very green game, action game. What's the fucking Monkey? The main character's name is Monkey.
Oh, Enslaved.
Odyssey of the West. Okay.
Yeah.
Ninja Theory did that, and I would like to see a game like that get handed over to them too. I think they could do justice.
I would absolutely approve of that. Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
to that world too.
As an alternative for Bard's Tale too. I kind of feel like Rockstar doing Bard's Tale would be kind of a more appropriate fit given the tone of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's how more tongue in cheek and I don't know, a little bit more adult themed. I think Rockstar could really have some fun with that.
All right, that's fair. Goat, do you have any thoughts on any of this stuff?
Not really. I mean, you guys are all hitting the same points I'll be hitting.
Right on. So for Clay Fighter though, just because they handled it so well with Killer Instinct, I would say give it to Iron Galaxy, because they did such a brilliant job taking something old and retaining what made that old thing great, but modernizing it. Technically, I guess all the groundwork was laid by Double Helix, but since Double Helix got folded into Amazon Games, I guess it doesn't matter. Either of those two studios seem like they've got their shit on lockdown with fighting games. So, yes, please, it'd be fantastic. What about Descent? Since we all played a bunch of Descent when we were kids, who should be handed a game like that? Would a game like that even work today because it's so bare bones?
Well, I mean, obviously they would change it up. I feel like with with id Software, they did a pretty good job of kind of revamping and rebirthing Doom. I feel like id could do something interesting with Descent.
Yeah. Is there any room left in the world for Redneck Rampage?
I think we may have.
Yes.
I think
we left it behind.
I think
No.
I think we may have passed the point of like. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
That
I'm on the fence there. Maybe Rockstar should take Redneck Rampage.
No,
All right.
I mean, we're really close. All they have to do is call it Tramp Rampage, and we'll be fine.
Hey, I'm pretty sure that there was a cameo, a Redneck Rampage cameo in Left 4 Dead 2. It's one time, my buddy Keith.
Yeah.
As close as we're gonna get, anyways. Let's see. I mean, really, there's Battle Chess. Yeah, they need to bring that shit back. Said nobody but John.
BioWare should take over Battle Chess.
There you go. I'd be fine with that. Be good. No, they need to make Battle Chess a fucking VR game. Or once you go into the part where the two little guys battle, I'll never forget the fucking animations and sound for that.
Yeah.
And then they fucking tip over and die, like fucking fall on their knees and then face plant. It was so bad. I have such.
I think EA should get Battle Chess.
Who? EA?
EA. Then we can have Battle Chess 17, 18.
No, they sell you each fucking piece on the board.
We will bring Battle Chess back to the masses, and,
and then
it'll be an
they'll
annual.
sell skin animations where like Battle Chess, it's like knights and then Mongolians and ninjas, and each one's a DLC pack. Let's not give them any fucking ideas. What am I doing? Terrible idea. Do you guys think that any of these games, if lovingly handled with care, I mean, besides the obvious ones, I mean, Earthworm Jim could find purchase as some sort of a game. I think Clay Fighters, just if it was a Clay Fighter, if it was done well. Do any of these strike you guys as like, if somebody took care of them well, being able to become relevant again?
No.
Well, I mean, all of them could. It just depends on how they're handled and how they're reimagined for the for today. I think
sadly, I think it's going to be like the only way they can become relevant again is if they do like a rare replay kind of thing with them.
Huh.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, like, I think like if you take a game like, if you take a game like Descent, and I don't know, I mean, like with what you keep what it was at its core, just in terms of you're flying around a ship inside inside a planet or whatever, but I mean just add the things that gamers want out of today. I mean, obviously you'd have multiplayer, you'd have just a big maybe just put it on one planet, have a big open world, or maybe or go the opposite direction and have it be the No Man's Sky approach, where you can go to any world and drill down and like explore the inside of like all these different planets. I don't know. I feel like there's enough in almost everything that we've mentioned here where you could use its legacy as sort of the coattails that you get like the marketing and the PR spin started on, and then that'd be enough. And then as long as you take care of the license well and do something interesting with it, I think there's potential in any of these. It's just,
here you go.
Yeah,
it just struck me. Give Lost Vikings to Nintendo and let them put their charm into it and some of that ingenuity that they have with level design for a lot of their games. I mean, those games were already brilliantly designed anyways, but just give them a little bit of the Nintendo charm, make those characters a little more lovable, and I think you could totally fucking, make that a game again.
Sure. Nintendo, or I could see even Rare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The one thing is it would have been Lost Vikings with a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of modern graphical charm would have been a perfect Wii U game if you are using the controller as a supplement to some of the puzzle solving. It totally could have been.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Fucking cool, man. Very neat. I would love. It makes me sad that Interplay went away. I would love to know what happened to that company. I may do a little personal reading into it just to see. I would love to know why they went down. But man, what a sad thing, because going through that list woke my mind up to so many memories from my childhood, and even in my early adulthood that just so many great hours spent with these games.
Yeah, I got a question for you guys. There's one more game I want on this list. I just want to ask you guys about before we move on. By chance, did either one of you play Siberia? That's Cyberia.
Yeah, not the SIBER or SY or whatever it was.
Yeah, no.
The pre-rendered one with the girl in it that looked a lot like Lara Croft. That's the other one.
Whatever that is, no. But no, with Siberia, like cyber.
No, I don't believe that I did. I know I recognize the art and the cover for it as I'm looking at it right now, but no, I don't think I ever played it.
Okay. Okay. Go. Did you play this one at all?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I have yet to really to talk to like more than like one or two other people that I've encountered in my travels that did play this game. This is just a it was a I'll just read off of the Wikipedia article here. Siberia is a science fiction action adventure video game originally released for MS-DOS in January of '94 and released 2 years later on the PlayStation, Sega Saturn, and 3DO consoles. Yada yada. Yeah, well, I won't read all this, but yeah, it played like it was basically like an on the rails shooter for the most part. The main character would sometimes be on foot or would sometimes be playing like this giant like stealth bomber, like like wing aircraft, or like operating turrets on something, or moving back and forth between these different scenes as you went through the story. But I don't know, there was just something about that game I just really 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 liked. They came out with a sequel, Siberia 2, a couple of years later, which was not as good. But the original Siberia, I have a lot of fun memories of playing that one. I don't know why that game struck me so much as it did, but I really enjoyed it. So in case you're a fan of retro gaming and you ever see this as being an option for something you could check out, I really liked it. So yeah, whatever.
To be clear, the other Siberia that I was talking about, I'm going to share the cover art for this. This game started on PC and made its way to the original Xbox. I think I own a couple copies of this game. It was kind of like a point and click adventure game that had pre-rendered backgrounds, and this was the one I was talking about.
Oh yeah, that's
yeah. Do you remember this now?
I do.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
why I said she looked a lot like Lara Croft of the age of
yeah.
that time. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
very cool. So unless you guys can think of anything or have anything else to add to our feature this week, I think we did a damn fine job of honoring Interplay's history this week by kind of discussing some of that stuff. I wish we had more time to talk about it. I could probably go into great length on some of my thoughts and memories on some of these games.
Agreed. Yeah, nope. So with that, I suppose we can move on into our mailbag. So our mailbag question this week was who last week we talked a little bit about Mario Run, and we posed the question of what do you think would be the correct price for Mario Run, and also what other games do you think would make good good mobile game ports. Dan Hlocky responded and said, first of all, the price should be free because there's probably going to be microtransactions for in-game skins, energy, and whatever else. From what we've seen with Pokemon Go, I do think that model works rather well for Nintendo.
Yeah.
As much as I hate to say it, I could see that being the case. I would rather it be a one-time buy and done kind of a thing, which is more traditional for Nintendo. But, well, money, so and then he said, as far as a game that would be good on mobile, Metroid Pinball. Come on, she can roll into a ball. Well, okay. I think a mobile version of a Metroid Pinball game would make a lot of sense logistically. But yeah, and then we have a Songbird email. Songbird says, mailbag answer. I don't know, maybe $5 or $10 max as far as the price. It can't be worth much considering you're just tapping a screen compared to a full-fledged game. Hopefully Nintendo will give us incentives for purchasing it. A game I would like to see, and what better market than here, is a tower defense game where you command Toads to protect a castle from invading Koopas, since that'll never happen in the main series of Mario games. I love that idea, actually. I would almost certainly play that.
Yeah, I'd play it.
Yeah. Another game I could see happening is either Star Fox or Kid Icarus in the style of R-Type. Okay. Yeah, all perfectly good ideas.
Why does Nintendo not employ you, Songbird? Why do you not work there? You should really fucking go work there. Kick their door in and be like, I'm here.
Aside from that, if she did, let me start that sentence over. I almost wonder if she does work there. However, if she did, I don't think she would be posting these things. Probably because of NDA.
No, probably like that,
not.
So,
yeah. Yeah, Nintendo, if you're listening, maybe get in contact with her.
Yeah. Suffice it to say, Songbird, your ideas are good enough to work for Nintendo.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Songbird continues. That wasn't the word.
Turners.
Songbird continues. Hear thee, Mr. Miyamoto has unintentionally announced a challenge to all who plan on purchasing Super Mario Run. As proclaimed, you can play said game with only one hand, while giving the other hand the freedom of which the owner so desires. It shall go like this. What do you think is the most complicated task you can perform while playing Super Mario Run? Eating Taco Bell, I think, is up there. At least cleanly eating Taco Bell without spilling all over yourself. I should clarify. Spinning a plate on the end of a stick.
My God.
John, what do you got?
I have a tendency to. I wish I weren't, but I'm a multitask person when it comes to when I'm playing games. Like when a load screen comes up, like I'll pull up my phone and check my email, or I'm working on something else while I'm fucking playing games. I can never just sit still and play something. I hate that. I hate it about myself. It makes me fucking insane. I've not been able to buck the habit. I don't know why. So I'm gonna say probably playing Mario Run and on the computer checking fucking Facebook, or like probably something stupid like that, like typing out, like Hunt and Peck typing out, like email responses or like Facebook Messenger responses to people while I'm in the middle of playing Mario Run. That's probably the best thing to do. I should have said something impressive like I knit a fucking town full of sweaters for children while I was with the other hand.
I think knitting one-handed. I'm not gonna say it's impossible because there's probably somebody that's done it, but that does sound relatively difficult, if not impossible.
That's why you use this hand to knit and your left foot to do the other half of the work.
Ah, yes.
You gotta think big, Charlie.
That's true, Songbird. You did not quantify whether or not we could use our feet or mouths to aid in whatever task we're doing with our one hand. So, John has exploited a loophole in your question.
Loophole.
Goat, what do you got?
Sexual favors.
Waiting in the wings like a fucking sniper. So cool, so calm, so collected. You know what's sad? I don't think he sat there and contemplated that. I think it just came to him. It had to be. That was well done, man. I'm impressed.
I mean, okay. So taking your answer seriously here for a second, I do have to debate it a little bit because
How can you take it seriously?
Because
you just say you have to bait it.
I do have to say that performing sexual favors one-handed is something that I have accomplished, and I do think that there are more difficult one-handed tasks out there that as options. So
one of the very rare and brief instances in which we get into a glimpse into the filthy mind of Charlie Worthley.
The
usually very private, filthy mind of Charlie Worthley. Well done, ladies.
I am a human being. Thank you.
That's true.
Believe it or not.
Charlie has needs.
I also would like to supplement my answer and add in. I mean, so taking the question as worded, what is something very difficult to do one-handed while playing, Mario Run in your other hand? Brain surgery. I will submit as being a
guitar playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but that might be impossible. I don't. Well, again, feet though. I suppose feet.
No, man. If you've ever seen anybody who does like what's his name, Jason Mongrain, or I think is his name, something Mongrain, Eric Mongrain. He taps. He lays a guitar flat.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Like a steel guitar would be, and he taps along the fretboard and then kind of mutes the strings with his hand as he plays. It's possible. It can be done. Not by me because I'm a hack, but it can be done.
Okay. Don't know where to go from there. I suppose the Songbird's next question is where we'll go from there. So Songbird asks, can I has cheeseburger? In honor of National Cheeseburger Day, you must come up with various themes of the cheeseburger in relation to some of Interplay's IPs. What are they called? And is the build of what are they called? And what is the build of the cheeseburger? And she suggests if you need some inspiration, look up Pokemon Burger, which I have done. And I will hopefully my Hangouts will cooperate with me today and not have a conniption. But I'm going to attempt to screen share here, And Pokemon Burger. Those are adorable.
For fuck's sakes.
They're all, so for the audio listeners, we have a Pikachu burger and a Charizard burger and a Squirtle burger, which are all actually very good-looking burgers, except for the fact that their buns are colored like their characters.
That Charizard burger's face is screaming, "Please kill me." Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, that's adorable. That one's pretty cute. This is basically a normal burger, like just with a little bit of probably like ketchup or something like burned, kind of like like you burn a piece, like an image into a piece of toast, kind of a thing. I think that's the Pikachu face here, and then like tortilla chips, like wedges of tortilla chips with blackened tips for his ears. I think that's actually pretty cute there.
Yeah.
But anyways, so video game themed burgers based off of Interplay IPs, and what is the burger made of? Who wants to start?
Earthworm Jim. It's a burger that's made up out of ground earthworms. You grind up the earthworms, pack it together into a patty, fry it up, eat it. Think about your life choices. That's the burger, man.
Okay, I'm going to pull an executive decision here and say that all further entries must be edible.
Okay.
You can eat worms. Worms are edible.
I mean, and desirable.
They're not that bad.
Well, that's a matter of cultural nomenclature, Charlie, and
Jonathan.
That's way better than what I had.
He used my full name. Well, you kind of fucked up my other option. Then go ahead, go.
I was going to do the dissent burger, where it's a normal burger, but it's dipped in X-Lash, so you have the dissent later.
That sounds like more the escape than the descent.
The clay fighter, which is literally just a hunk of clay on a fucking set of buns.
You guys are not following the spirit of Songbird's question.
I feel like we are perfectly following the spirit of Songbird's
No, I think she's looking for Bob's Burgers, kind of punnery.
Bob's Burgers? Okay. Okay, then instead of the Earthworm Jim being... Although I do stand by that is a meat product, and you could fucking compound that into a patty. Instead of doing that, make it a medium, either rare or medium cooked burger, and just top it with worms. That's it. Just put it on top of the fucking patty between the bun. That's the alternative.
John,
don't you judge me, Charlie.
Judgment is happening. You are being
don't knock it until you've tried it. I'm not going to try it.
I do knock it because I will not try it. I'm going to go with the Lost Vikings. With using let's see, using a croissant, like a dinner croissant. It'll cut in half. Those of course make the horns on the top of the bun, and it's Vikings are Mediterranean-ish. So it'd be like it would be a Euro burger basically.
That's Greek. Good times.
It's the same general area. I know it's not Norse.
Yeah, that's like saying like Chicago and the Bronx are next door to each other.
That's not at all what I'm saying. I don't know what Norse people eat. I'm sorry. A lutefisk burger. Then is that better? Is that what you wanted me to say?
Yeah, that'll work.
All right, here you go. I got one for you. The Redneck Rampage. Whatever the fuck they scooped up out of the street, that's the burger patty. Whatever.
Oh, but it's gonna
roadkill.
It's gonna be beer battered and patched lemon.
There you go. All right, beer battered is good. So it's a way to cover up the taste of whatever the fuck it was. Whatever.
See, my problem is I don't buy this crap. Like, I'm the first person who walks in and goes, "Oh, look at that! That's $12 of useless crap for your little gimmick burger." I'm like, just give me a burger and cheese and let me get on my way.
Okay. I want to try and discuss the Boogerman burger, but I feel like it's too easy.
Oh wait, that's easy. No, John, Boogerman burger is simple. It's just regular bun, meat, guacamole with tortilla chips.
That sounds delicious. Yeah. I would like to eat that right now.
Yeah.
The Alone in the Dark burger, where you have to wear a blindfold while you eat it, and you have no idea what's on it.
Yeah.
Spoiler
alert.
It's either the Earthworm Jim or the Redneck Rampage.
Or it's the horse and cat combo.
That's it. That's the catch if you do the Alone in the Dark. You're gonna get one of those 2 burgers.
Songbird, I apologize that this did not go as you planned, but
Don't you apologize for me. I stand by my answers. These are quality products we're producing here, Charlie.
We are a bit like I'm a little messed up with allergies. Charlie's having a bad day, and John's pissed at Comcast. So we were a little bit out of our imaginary element
Fucking
at the moment.
Comcast.
Songbird, we appreciate you and all everybody else that responded to our mailbag this week. That includes Dan, who specifically asked what the question was in the Players Club because we forgot to post it. Otherwise,
yes,
whatever.
Which reminds me, we've had a couple of those instances where we have gotten so busy with our weekly lives that we have forgotten to post the mailbag. At the beginning of this show, set a recurring weekly alarm on my phone to go off to say, let's do mailbag so that we don't forget, because we always have so much fun answering everybody's responses. Not to mention, Songbird always takes time out of her schedule to come up with these brilliant fucking questions based on the mailbag, and we kind of leave her out in the cold sometimes, as we learned today when she emailed us and was just like, where's the fucking mailbag? Not quite like that at all, but you know.
No, it was in all caps. It was pretty much like that.
Oh, she yelled at us.
Sorry, we got scolded. That's okay, and deservedly so.
We deserve it. We deserve it.
But thank you to everybody, and of course everybody that's been participating in the chat room as we've been going here. Actually, yeah. So
Darcy, Mark, and Dustin have all been contributing this evening, kindly enough.
And then Dustin, as a matter of fact, suggested the alternative for your burger, John, that they be gummy worms instead of actual worms, which I'm actually not. I'm actually not sure that would be better, to be honest.
I feel like we would be selling our customers a lie. You know, they can get just a mouthful of dirt-covered truth.
John, there's a simple solution to this. When they order it, just tell them that there's no digital refunds, and you'll be fine.
That's right. It's true. That's the No Man's Sky burger. No Man's Fry.
So with that, geez, good lord. So go where? What excitement do you have coming up in your next week?
I'm on tour.
Right. Any particularly interesting stops on your calendar?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
It all becomes a big long blur when you're out there.
It doesn't matter where you're going to be tomorrow. You only care about where you are today. That sort of a thing.
Yeah, I don't have days of the week. I have cities of the week now because, I get up, I go to work, I come home, I get up, I go to work. It's just,
Okay, that's fair.
It's a weird world.
Okay, John, how about you?
Let's see. I got a bunch of shit going on this week. So, I ended up had a big snafu with school where I ended up not being able to take the courses that I wanted to, and I'm actually taking a late registration course, which does not start until this week. So I'm actually starting school like 3 weeks late, which is good because then that means the semester will end sooner. So I got that going on. I'm gonna be spending some time doing some villain related stuff, some not usual villain related stuff involving tablature and the possible eventual, maybe one fucking day, completion of like tablature books and music books for sale at some point. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit. And then that's really, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be on vacation next week for the first time in almost 3 years. This will be the first time in almost 3 years I have not taken time off that was either not for VS for Villains, Gamerhead Radio, or school. So I am so fucking excited for vacation. My 1 year anniversary, like marriage anniversary, is also next weekend too, next Sunday. So yeah, that's everything I got coming up shortly. I do need to throw a little shout out though. You know, our friend and listener Dustin Falconer, who's been chatting with us this evening in here and often opines in the mailbag as Garrus Redfield. He's a VS for Villains fan. He was at the show last night. He was nice enough to bring his copy of Cards Against Humanity to Bottom Lounge, where about 6 or 7 of us sat there for like an hour and a half, man, last night and just played Cards Against Humanity after the show and had a fucking blast. So thanks for bringing that out and you know, bringing Villains fans together to have a good laugh, man. That was a good time. Thank you. But yeah, that's everything I got for this week. Charlie, what about yourself?
Well, Ciderfest, we are in the midst of announcing our community guests. So last week we announced AC Race Best, Saberspark, and Paleo Sterno, which were three staples of PonyCons. Relatively in these circles, famous YouTubers, and just really great guys. Really, really fun to be around. They do like a Whose Line, like Whose Line Is It Anyway? Kind of a panel. And that's always just an absolute riot. These guys are hilarious. I would be sad if we ever had a con that they could not come to. And then next week we'll be announcing a bevy of additional community guests, and as well as our schedule should be coming out just as soon as we notify panelists that they've been accepted, and just have them come back and say, yes, I still want to do it. Because some of these panels were submitted months ago. But yeah, so it's just like I'm saying every week now, things with Ciderfest are moving along. Kind of a couple things I want to mention. Kind of pseudo programming notes. The Gamerhead Radio, we are anticipating that we will be at Conalt Delete. We submitted the panel application for that, and their panel application basically says just assume that your panel is going to be accepted, which implies that they've got more than enough room for however many applications that they anticipate that they're going to get. So if anybody is considering whether or not you're going to come to Conalt Delete, and I believe it's mid-December. At the Hyde O'Hare in Rosemont. You just in case it sways your decision one way or the other, Gamerhead Radio, we are anticipating that we're going to be there recording live, which will be right around. It'll be like episode like 198 or 199 or 199, I think. So it'll be right around episode number 200, which is of course very exciting for us to have made it this far. But
yeah, if you recall, I can't believe that this much time will have passed by that point. But if you recall, Conalt Delete last year, I think was the last live show we did until we did your con with Big Jim Miller and Jen in April. But prior to that, that was the show we did with Mr. Christopher Sabat, of Dragon Ball Z fame.
At Anime Apocalypse.
Was that Apocalypse?
Yes.
Fuck, that was an Apocalypse. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, no, I believe it's actually December 17th, 16th through 18th. I think it's Conalt Delete, if I remember correctly. Maybe 9th through the 11th, but I gotta double check. But yeah, whenever it is, if you're planning on coming, hopefully look forward to seeing us there. And then aside from that, the other potential thing is with as you guys know, Goat is on tour, and yeah, Dustin's confirmed 16th through 18th. So thank you for that, Dustin. You better be right on that. But obviously with Goat being on tour, there's always a mild possibility he may not be able to make it, just in case various toury reasons. If anybody listened to the show and ever been interested in being a guest host for whatever reason, we won't be able to accommodate everyone that's interested, but by all means, let us know that you are interested and why. If you are one of these people, and you probably know one of us on social media, so just get in contact with us, or you can contact Gamerhead Radio through our normal means, which I always end the show with. And just if you think like maybe you're especially if you have any relation to the video game industry, if you are in a position where you can talk about what you do, or maybe something you have coming up that you want to talk about, or if you have a friend that you want to maybe see if you can get them on the show to talk about what they do, or if they have something coming up, if they can, let us know, because we'd like to kind of reach out and bring some other people on, kind of mix it up and get some other people on here to kind of chat about video games. So just let us know. Probably won't be able to accept and accommodate everyone, but yeah, just see if we can mix it up a bit, maybe while Goat's out of town.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. But with for next week, so what do we say our mailbag question was going to be? The conspiracy theory PC port?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me how you guys like this phrasing. So so the mailbag question is going to be, do you think that do you believe that there's any chance that that developers or publishers could have any enough reason to intentionally undermine their PC port offerings in order to get people over on console for any reason, but but most specifically because because pirating on consoles is more difficult. Arguably more difficult. Well, we will word that better, and when we put it up online. But if you guys have been listening to the show, you probably get the gist of the question. But yeah, we'll sort of examine that and kind of see what we think next week. Sound good to you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. And so I think that's everything, right? I don't know why I'm having trouble being confident that we've covered all of our bases like usual.
I think we got it, man.
That's
it. That's the show.
All right. So with that being said, if you've liked what you heard, you can find us at gamerheadradio.com, at facebook.com/gamerheadradio, at google.com/+gamerheadradio, or on Twitter at gamerheadradio, where I am at TK Charlie. Goat is at Sir Goatsworth. You can't see his lower third, but it's there, trust me. And John is at the Fallon Flynn. Also follow Goat's Tour Antics on Instagram, same screen name there. I think
Snapchat's been where I've been throwing them.
Oh, you're doing the Snapchat thing now.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never touched Snapchat. I don't know anything about it. Is it same thing? Just you look you up by Sir Goatsworth on there?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
It's shit.
What's that?
It's shit. Snapchat is such shit.
Snapchat is shit. Okay.
Oh, I love
That's just
Snapchat.
my opinion. I fucking hate Snapchat.
I just don't get it personally. Anywho, email us at editors@gamerheadradio.com, or please call us and leave us a voicemail at 949-26-GAMER. If you are on the Google Play platform on the Android devices, you can download the official Gamerhead Radio app from the Google Play Store, or you can subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, of course, where you can find our video versions recorded live, typically every week at 8 p.m. on Sunday evenings. That's 8 p.m. Central. Or with your various podcast downloaders of choice. If you ever find anything that you can't find us on, please let us know so we can correct that. With all that being said, this has been episode 186 of Gamerhead Radio. Okay, and John, your lead-in idea, I think, is the
lead-in.
winner.
I'm so excited. So remember, the episode title for this week is Wyatt Derp. And then we're doing, where was it at? I pulled it up here. Names of the fucking... Gotta get them. Okay. Let me review this. Tanner Gamerhead Radio. Find out where Wyatt Derp and Winged Knight's penetration are. Here's a hint. Not in my crapper. Okay. Easy enough. This is so fucking stupid. It's so stupid. Thank you, Digital Homicide, for bestowing this gift upon us and our listeners. Jesus. Today on Gamerhead Radio, find out where Wyatt Derp and the Winged Knights of Penetration are. Here's a hint. Not in my crapper. Gamerhead Radio starts now.
Well, that was perfect.
It's funny. You don't when you're spitting copy out, or you're throwing something out there that's for the purpose of the thing that you're working on. Normally, you don't think about it. You're just focused on making sure you present it properly. But it was really hard for me to not laugh as the tiny voice inside my head that governs my conscience was like, "You sound like a fucking idiot. What are you saying? You're an adult." It's so great. Love that so much. I got to play at least one of these games.
Let us know what you think. Yeah, well, that can be your crap game that you play this week, because
we should turn that into a segment. Some shit that I played this week.
Yeah, but that almost requires us wasting money on shit. So.
It's true.
But yeah. So, viewers, we're gonna go ahead and go off air. Thanks very much for joining us this week. We appreciate it very much. And
take it easy, guys.
Well, we'll see you all later.